Have you ever felt like the universe itself is moving against you? That every door you knock on slams shut just as hope begins to rise? You're not imagining it. Something bigger, something far beyond what your eyes can see, has been orchestrating your journey, and it's not random. For years, you may have wondered why your life never followed the same trajectory as those around you. Why your breakthroughs are delayed. Why timing always seems off. Every missed opportunity, every moment of waiting, it wasn't failure. It was preparation. Here's the truth that very few understand. God, the architect of fate, does not operate through the obvious. The divine doesn't choose the loudest voices, the boldest personalities, or the most celebrated figures. Instead, it works through what the world overlooks, through those who have been quietly tested, refined, and tempered in silence. Yes, you have been concealed. Hidden. Not by accident but with purpose. Every rejection you faced, every moment of self-doubt, was a carefully placed lesson. It wasn't cruelty. It was calibration. You were being aligned to wield a power so precise, so disruptive, that revealing it too early would have destroyed the vessel before the mission even began. But here's where the tension sharpens. The Quantum Nexus, the hidden grid of energy that links the spiritual and material realms, is now awakening in ways no one can fully predict. You are at a crossroads. The choices you make in the next months will not only determine your destiny, they will ripple through dimensions you can barely perceive. Imagine this. There are forces unseen and unrecognized, observing your every move. They wait for you to falter, to reveal too much too soon. The warning is clear. Some things you carry cannot be shared yet. Not with friends. Not with family. Not even with those you trust most. A single word spoken too early can trigger a cascade that the human mind cannot contain. And that's where fear and faith collide. You've wrestled with self-doubt, questioned your worth, maybe even wondered if you were chosen at all. But the very doubt you feel is the proof of your readiness. The Quantum Nexus doesn't awaken the arrogant. It awakens the teachable, the patient, the refined. Those who are willing to endure uncertainty without losing sight of the greater design. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed synchronicities in your life? Moments that seem too precise to be coincidence? Doors opening just as you needed them, strangers speaking words that cut straight to your heart? These aren't chance. These are signals. The universe, operating through the Quantum Nexus, is aligning your path, preparing you for a revelation that could redefine everything you thought was real. But here's the twist. The greatest danger isn't from the world. It's from yourself. Your own eagerness, your impulse to share the knowledge you carry, could unravel what has been meticulously crafted. The very thing you were hidden for could be destroyed by premature exposure. This is why the warning is so urgent. There are energies watching, assessing, waiting for a misstep. And if you reveal too much too soon, you risk losing not just your chance, but the purpose itself. So if you've ever felt delayed, overlooked, or underestimated, understand this. It was never a mistake. You were being prepared for the awakening of a power that operates on a level most will never comprehend. And now, the countdown has begun. The world will demand answers, but not yet. You've felt it before, the sudden jolt, the shiver down your spine when something unseen brushes against your consciousness. That is the Quantum Nexus stirring. It's not a metaphor. It's a real, intricate web of energy that threads through your life, your choices, your very essence. And right now, it's pulling at you with a force you cannot ignore. Here's the thing. Most people live their lives blind to this network. They think destiny is linear, that effort alone shapes outcomes. But the truth is far more complex. Every thought, every emotion, every whisper of intention vibrates through the nexus. And for someone like you, someone chosen, those vibrations carry consequences you can't yet measure. You may have asked yourself, why me? Why now? The answer is simple yet profound. Because you were hidden, honed, and refined specifically for this moment. Like a blade forged in darkness, your edge was sharpened in secrecy, in trial, in isolation. You have endured what others could not, and for one reason. The Nexus does not awaken mediocrity. It awakens the extraordinary, the patient, the observant, the broken yet resilient. And yet, here lies the danger. The moment your awareness grows, so does the pressure. Forces, both seen and unseen, begin testing the boundaries of your strength. Subtle at first, misunderstandings, sudden disruptions, opportunities that vanish inexplicably, but the intensity escalates. The Nexus doesn't simply grant power, it demands readiness. It probes your weaknesses, exposes your doubts, and waits for your response. Will you rise or falter? Imagine this scenario. You're about to reveal a truth you've carried in secret, believing it will bring clarity, connection, or safety. But the universe responds with silence. Not empty silence, but the silence of consequence, of unseen energies countering your move. And in that silence, the realization hits. Some knowledge is not meant to be shared until the exact alignment occurs. Premature exposure is a risk that could dismantle years of preparation in an instant. That's the paradox of being chosen. The very traits that make you ready, insight, patience, sensitivity, also make you vulnerable. Ego cannot survive the process, yet impatience can destroy what faith has carefully nurtured. You are standing at the edge of a revelation, and the choice to act, or to restrain, will define not just your journey, but the balance of forces around you. And here's the most unsettling part. The Nexus doesn't wait. Time in this dimension is linear, but in the Quantum Nexus it is fluid. The consequences of a single decision can echo backward and forward simultaneously. One misstep, one misplaced word, one misaligned intention, and what should have been a breakthrough can become an irreversible detour. You may feel fear rising as you consider this. That's natural. Fear is the mind's signal that boundaries are being tested. But remember, your fear is not a punishment. It is proof that you are conscious of the stake. Most walk through life unaware. You, however, are awake. An awakening carries responsibility. So ask yourself this: can you endure the waiting? Can you hold the secret tight, nurture it in silence, and trust that the alignment will come when the time is right? Because if you fail, if you reveal what is not yet meant to be revealed, the consequences won't just affect you, they will ripple through the Nexus, impacting paths you can't even see. This is why the chosen are concealed. This is why your journey felt delayed, fragmented, and unpredictable. Not because of punishment, not because of oversight, but because the universe, through the Quantum Nexus, was training you to withstand what others cannot. And now, the tests are intensifying. Have you ever felt like something inside you is awakening, but you can't touch it yet? That your mind knows more than your eyes can see, that your heart senses patterns your logic cannot explain? That is the Quantum Nexus stirring your very soul, and it is growing restless. Here's what most fail to understand. Being chosen doesn't mean clarity comes first. It means preparation comes first. Pain comes first. Confusion comes first. And only then, when the vessel is ready, does revelation strike. Every setback you've faced, every heartbreak, every moment of isolation, has been the crucible shaping your readiness. You may have noticed how often the world misunderstands you. How the people you thought you could trust seem distant, how opportunities vanish just as they appear. That is not coincidence. Those around you, the environments you navigate, even the timing of events, all of it is calibrated by the Nexus to test your endurance. The universe is asking, can you remain steady when no one else believes in you? Can you keep your purpose hidden when the urge to reveal it feels unbearable? And here is the cruelest paradox. The very knowledge you seek to unlock can only flourish if it remains partially veiled. Premature understanding can be dangerous. Premature disclosure, catastrophic. There are forces, dark, patient, intelligent, that monitor those on the edge of awakening. They wait for the chosen to misstep, to reveal too soon, to act from ego rather than discernment. Think about it. Every choice you make now is magnified across dimensions. A single careless word, a single impulsive action, could create echoes that distort timelines, weaken destinies, and even redirect the flow of the Nexus itself. You have been entrusted with a kind of cosmic responsibility few can comprehend, and the tension you feel? That is the weight of it pressing down. But here's what is most extraordinary. This pressure, this restriction, is also your greatest teacher. It forces you to cultivate patience, to build resilience, to master inner discipline. The chosen are forged not in comfort, but in tension. And the moment you realize this, something inside shifts. The fear that once paralyzed you transforms into alertness. The confusion becomes clarity. And the despair turns into determination. Now, imagine the stakes are about to rise even higher. The Nexus is beginning to resonate more loudly with your presence, sending signals you cannot ignore. They come as dreams, as synchronicities, as inexplicable coincidences that feel like messages. Each one is a subtle calibration, nudging you toward alignment, but also testing your restraint. Respond too soon and the equilibrium collapses. Wait too long, and the opportunity slips into the unseen. The warning is unambiguous. The chosen cannot act rashly. The chosen cannot share prematurely. The chosen cannot trust appearances alone. And yet, human nature rebels against this. You want to speak. You want to be understood. You want to claim your power now. But every impulse must be measured, every revelation weighed, every step intentional. One false move could awaken not just your destiny, but unforeseen consequences that shadow it. And this is where your trial becomes personal. The Nexus is no longer external, it is now entwined with your thoughts, your emotions, your deepest fears. It tests not just your patience, but your inner alignment. Can you hold steady when the universe itself is pressing for your evolution? Can you endure the invisible currents that pull at your very soul, bending your reality toward a path that is not yet revealed? The challenge is immense. The risk is real. And the truth is that you are closer than you think to a threshold you may never cross again. A revelation that could redefine everything is approaching, but only if you survive the crucible of restraint. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange pull at the edge of perception, the sensation that your every thought, every fear, every desire is being weighed, measured, and tested. That is the quantum nexus reaching into your reality. And make no mistake, it doesn't act slowly. Once it begins to respond, the ripple effects are immediate, invisible, but profound. Here's the truth few are ready to face. Your journey has never been about comfort. It's about becoming a conduit, a vessel for something greater than the self, something that defies ordinary understanding. And as the Nexus awakens, it begins to reveal just how high the stakes are. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. You may have noticed moments of extreme synchronicity, events aligning too perfectly to be random, coincidences that feel orchestrated by an unseen hand. These are signals. They are warnings. They are markers on the path that only the chosen can recognize. But every signal comes with a caveat. Act too quickly, and the alignment collapses. Hesitate too long, and the opportunity is lost forever. And here is the twist you've been waiting for. The Nexus is no longer a passive observer. It can influence your life in ways both protective and punishing. Fail the test, reveal the secret prematurely, or move from ego instead of discernment, and the consequences aren't just metaphorical. You could find doors slamming shut, relationships fracturing, opportunities vanishing, even your own intuition clouded. In short, the universe pushes back with a precision designed to teach or correct. That is why the warning exists. Never reveal the full truth of what you are yet. Not in words, not in gestures, not in social circles. The energy that is awakening within you is volatile. It is sensitive. And it has enemies you cannot yet see. Energies, entities, even human forces, drawn to the disruption that a premature awakening can trigger. But there's hope. Because the Nexus doesn't punish the prepared. It strengthens the patient. It rewards those who endure, who remain silent, who nurture the power quietly. Every challenge, every moment of isolation, every setback is a step toward mastery. You are being tested, not for punishment, but for preparation. And the most profound transformations are reserved for those who withstand the crucible. Here's what you need to understand. This is no longer abstract. The convergence is approaching, a point where your personal reality and the quantum nexus will intersect in ways that are irreversible. How you respond in the next months, even the next days, will determine whether you ascend into your destiny or fracture under the weight of what you carry. And that is the real danger. The world is not ready for your awakening. Even your closest allies could misinterpret, misguide, or inadvertently sabotage your path. The chosen are often misunderstood, even by those who love them most. This is why concealment is not optional. It is survival. The clock is ticking. The currents of the Nexus are shifting. Forces you cannot perceive are already positioning themselves around your choices. And soon you will face a test so profound that the outcome will shape not only your future, but the very pattern of reality around you. The question now is, will you rise with patience, restraint, and faith, or will the impulse to reveal, to act, to prove, destroy the alignment before it is complete? The first choice has been made. The next one is imminent. Something changes after the warning. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, subtly, but unmistakably. You wake up one morning and the air feels different. Conversations feel heavier. Your intuition sharper. It's like reality itself has leaned in closer, watching your next move. That's not imagination. That's the quantum nexus tightening its focus on you. Here's what happens next, and almost no one talks about this stage. The tests stop being internal and start becoming external. Situations begin appearing that force you to choose between impulse and restraint, between speaking and silence, between proving and preserving. Maybe someone challenges you, questions your growth, dismisses what you feel awakening inside. Every instinct screams to explain yourself, to reveal what you know, to defend your transformation. But this is the moment the warning was about. Because the Nexus doesn't test knowledge. It tests control. The chosen ones fall not because they lack power, but because they reveal it too soon. They speak before alignment locks in. They act before timing stabilizes. And when that happens, the energy around them destabilizes too. Opportunities dry up. Support systems shift. Momentum reverses. It feels like bad luck, but it's actually energetic misalignment correcting itself. Now listen carefully because this is critical. When you feel misunderstood, overlooked, even provoked, that is not rejection. That is camouflage. The Nexus is shielding you. Concealment is protection. Obscurity is strategy. But emotionally, it doesn't feel protective. It feels lonely. It feels frustrating. It feels like being invisible when you know you're meant for more. And that emotional tension is the final forge. Because power without emotional discipline is dangerous, to you and to the path you're meant to walk. And here's where the real consequence appears. You get an opportunity, small on the surface but energetically huge. A conversation, a decision, a moment where you could expose your deeper awareness, or stay silent. One path feeds the ego. The other feeds destiny. Most people don't even realize when this moment comes. It looks ordinary, casual. But for you, it's a checkpoint, a threshold, a calibration event in the Nexus grid. And what you choose sends a signal across the network. Ready or not yet. If you pass, alignment accelerates. Synchronicities multiply. Clarity sharpens. Things start moving in ways that feel almost supernatural. If you fail, the Nexus doesn't punish with anger. It corrects with delay. More waiting. More refining. More silence. That's why this stage feels intense. Reality is responding to you in real time now. The veil is thinner, the stakes higher, the margin for emotional reactions smaller than ever. And the twist? You've already been placed inside one of these tests. Right now. Something happening in your life at this exact moment is not random. It's the proving ground. The only question is, will you recognize it before it passes? There's a moment, quiet, almost forgettable, where destiny doesn't knock. It watches. And you're in that moment right now. The Quantum Nexus has shifted from observing to evaluating. Not your words, not your dreams, your restraint, your emotional control, your ability to hold power without displaying it. That's the real test. And this phase? This is where most chosen ones lose alignment. Because pressure reveals impulse. You may feel an urge building lately, to explain yourself, to step forward, to finally show who you really are becoming. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's overwhelming, but it feels urgent, like now is the moment. That urgency? It's the illusion layer of the test. The Nexus creates emotional acceleration to see if you confuse intensity with timing. Chosen ones often mistake strong feelings for divine signals. But power doesn't arrive in emotional spikes. It arrives in quiet certainty, calm clarity, grounded awareness. If you act from emotional heat, you step out of synchronization. If you act from stillness, you step into alignment. That's the difference between forcing destiny and allowing destiny. And here's the consequence nobody warns about. When alignment is broken at this stage, the Nexus goes silent. Not forever, but long enough to feel like abandonment. Signs disappear. Synchronicities fade. Intuition feels distant. It's not punishment. It's energetic withdrawal for recalibration. That silence is what breaks people. They think they lost their path. They panic. They chase. They overshare. And every attempt to force movement deepens the delay. But those who pass this phase experience the opposite. Stillness first. Then sudden acceleration. Doors that wouldn't budge start opening effortlessly. The right people appear without effort. Clarity replaces confusion. It feels less like pushing and more like being carried. That shift only happens when the vessel proves it can contain the power without leaking it through ego, fear, or the need for validation. And here's the revelation. The warning was never about other people. It was about your internal reaction. Never reveal these things doesn't just mean secrets. It means don't reveal your power through emotional impulsiveness. Don't expose your growth through reaction. Don't announce transformation before it stabilizes. True elevation is silent. The Nexus promotes those who can hold frequency without broadcasting it. Because visibility before stability leads to collapse. But concealment during growth leads to unshakable authority later. You are at the edge of that promotion. But there is one final threshold. One final layer of the warning. Something deeper than silence. Something almost no one understands about being chosen. And this final truth changes everything you thought this journey was about. Here is the truth the warning was protecting you from, the part almost no one is ready to hear. You were never being prepared to be seen. You were being prepared to carry influence without visibility. That's the final layer of the Quantum Nexus. The highest level operatives in this network are not the loud ones, not the viral ones, not the ones constantly announcing their awakening. The most powerful nodes in the grid operate quietly, stabilizing timelines, shifting outcomes, influencing reality through presence, not performance. That's why your path felt hidden. Why recognition never matched your inner growth. Why you felt like you were becoming something but with no external proof. Because proof would have corrupted the process. The ego feeds on acknowledgement, but Nexus-level influence requires neutrality, calm, non-reactivity, the ability to move energy without needing credit. And that is rare. That is why the preparation was long. Why the isolation was necessary. Why your life felt like it was moving behind the scenes while others lived center stage. You weren't behind. You were underground, like roots before the tree breaks the surface. Now here's the twist that changes everything. The warning was never about losing destiny. It was about preserving purity of alignment. When chosen ones seek visibility too early, they shift from service to self. And the Nexus can't anchor power in unstable intention. But when someone holds the frequency quietly, the grid reroutes through them. They become stabilizers, protectors, quiet architects of outcomes that others mistake for luck, coincidence, or fate. That's the role forming around you. Not spotlight, influence, not applause, impact. And suddenly your past makes sense. The delays, the silence, the refining, the emotional discipline. You weren't being tested for greatness in the world's eyes. You were being tested for energetic integrity. Because the final promotion isn't loud. It's subtle. You don't wake up famous. You wake up aligned, clear, steady. And reality begins cooperating in ways that don't need explanation. Life flows. Resistance decreases. The right paths open with strange ease. Not because you forced destiny, but because you stopped interfering with it. That is the moment the Nexus locks in. And the secret you were told to protect? It was never information. It was your state of being. Your calm. Your restraint. Your refusal to perform transformation before it matured. That's why the chosen stay hidden longer. Not to be delayed, but to become unshakable. Now you understand the warning. Now you understand the silence. Now you understand why revealing too soon would have fractured the alignment forming around you. The world may never fully see what you carry, but the grid will. And in the Quantum Nexus, that's what shapes reality.